أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. Indeed, we glorify the hamd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we seek help with Him, and we ask forgiveness for what we do as the disobedience towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, we seek protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the shurur, from the evil that our own hearts and our own minds teach us. وَمِن سَيِّئَاتِ أَعْمَالِنَا, and when we have done wrong deeds, we seek protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we do not get His punishment. مَن يَهْدِهِ اللَّهُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decided that whomsoever He wants to guide, فَلَا مُضِلَّ لَهُ, there is no one who can mislead a person. On the other hand, if because of the deeds of the man, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to leave a person in the state of misguidance, وَمَن يُضْلِلْهُ, the judgment is فَلَا هَادِيَ لَهُ, there is no one who can guide a person after that. وَأَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ, and I bear witness there is no one worthy of worshipping except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَحْدَهُ لَا شَرِيكَ, He is the only one, there is no association or partnership with Him. وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His final messenger and servant. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has emphasized to live the life of taqwa. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah, O those of you who have believed, live the life of consciousness, life of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, haqqa tuqatihi, as is the right to fear Him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further mentions that وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, make sure the death does not arrive to you, but you are in the submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further reminds the mankind that Ya ayyuhan nas, O all the mankind, ittaqu, have taqwa, have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is He? Rabbakum, He is your Lord, He is your Creator, He is your Sustainer. Khalaqakum min nafsin wahida, He is the one who has created all of you from a single soul, from a single person. وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا, and He has created from it its mate, its spouse. وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spread on the face of this earth a multitude of males and females. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ تَسَأَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ, have fear of Allah, you ask through Him, and also be careful, fearful about the relationship of the wombs, a kinship or the relationship among yourselves. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes that قُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا, when you speak the truth, speak the straightforward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires that will keep you from the trouble of creating a fitna in the society. Amma ba'd, a'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran reminds, fadhakkir bil Quran, remind each other through the Quran. So inshallah I will remind all of us through some verses of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in 3 different places defines the personality of His creation, the human being. And when we say mankind or human being, we include both males and females in that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used 3 different words. And in those 3 words, He defines the personality, the human being, the nature, the behavior of the human being. And inshallah, I will go through each of them. And through the examples of the verses of the Quran, I will explain what those are. The first thing that Allah, first personality, first nature of the human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defines is called nafs-e ammara. Nafs means self, myself or yourself, the self of a person, the being of a person. The word ammara Quran uses after that is from the amr. Amr means to command something. So ammara, nafs-e ammara is the internal property, characteristic of the human being that commands him to do the evil. This characteristic of the mankind, both male and female, whenever you see something you like it, your heart, your mind, your personality tells you, get it rightfully or wrongfully, doesn't matter, because you have a desire for that. This particular characteristic Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls nafs-e ammara. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a beautiful example of nafs-e ammara, and I'm going to recite some of the verses of Surah Yusuf to bring you to the point where we will really understand what is this behavior of the mankind which is called nafs-e ammara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Yusuf mentions that when Yusuf alayhi salam was a child, his step-brothers did not like him and they threw him in a well. A caravan was passing by, picked him up, took him to Egypt and sold in the marketplace for a very small amount of money. The person who bought him, he took him to his wife, and he was Aziz al-Misr, he was some higher official of the Egypt, and he told her, his wife, take care of this child, we might make him as our son or he will benefit us. So Yusuf alayhi salam is being a person who was thrown in the well and had no future at that moment, started living in a very rich society and very rich house of that family. He grew up as a very strong young man, handsome man. So the woman who was raising him, she fell in love with him. And so I will recite the ayats, what happened after that. In Surah Yusuf in ayat number 23, وَرَاوَدُتْهُ الَّتِي هُوَ فِي بَيْتِهَا عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. The woman in his house, in her house, and the Aziz al-Misr, her husband's house, Yusuf was living, fell in love with her. She wanted to seduce him. So what did he do? What did she do one day? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this ayat, وَغَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابِ. She closed the doors. He was inside in the same room, and she locked all the doors of the room. And then this is what she said, وَقَالَتْ هَيْتَ لَكَ. Very powerful statement. She says, hey you, come here. It's the order she's giving him because he is being raised as a slave man there, and she is the authority, and she has fallen in love with him, and she said, come here. She wanted to take advantage. That is the nafs-e ammara. She looked at him, she desired him, and not realizing that she is already married to a man who is the powerful man, she wanted to take advantage of the personality of Yusuf alayhi salam. Qala ma'azallah. So Yusuf alayhi salam replied, may Allah protect, may Allah save. I need the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Innahu rabbi ahsana maswaya. He said that your husband, my master, is the one who gave me protection and safety in this house very kindly. So how can I go you want to cheat against him, I cannot be a part of that. But listen to the next ayat what it says. Right after that, Allah says, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ. She desired him. If the next two words, if I stop there, which are وَهَمَّ بِهَا, the meaning will be that he desired her. Quran is telling that if you stop there, the meaning is that she has a desire for him and he also desired. But the Quran did not stop there. He says, لَوْلَا أَرَّى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. He would have desired her if he had not seen some signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What were those signs? Quran doesn't tell us. Maybe this was an angel who was telling him, no, do not proceed anymore towards this woman. Okay? Because this is the activity of nafs-e ammara. This is the nature in the human being which is now leading towards the evil of an activity between, in this case, a man and a woman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that that's how he saved him from that wrongdoing that was going to happen with him. So now in the next ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that they found out who was on fault later on, and Yusuf alayhi salam was sent to the prison. And he told the meaning of the dream of the king, and king invited him, but he sent a message back to the king. And he says, go and find out from that woman if she was right or I was right. At that time, that woman had admitted and accepted. So the Quran says, Yusuf alayhi salam now is making a statement, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. He's saying, I'm not free from my nafs. From my nafs, or is another interpretation is that this woman is also saying that وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي. I'm not free from myself, from my nafs. Inna nafsa la'ammaratam bisui. This is what the Quran is saying. The nafs ammara, the soul, the body, the human mind, the heart of a person, which inclines a person towards the evil, is called nafs ammara. And even a prophet is not free from that. Even a higher official's wife is not free from that. Allah says, illa ma rahima rabbi. So this is our nature. So whenever we also, as a human being, we see towards something, we feel attracted, be it something that is not our property, is not our asset, doesn't belong to us, but there is an attraction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in the human mind, which is called the nafs ammara, which tells it, go and get it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, illa ma rahima rabbi, except your Rabb has done mercy upon such a person. So this is the first behavior of the mankind. The second great behavior which I want to mention of the mankind, and these three behaviors, these three characteristics, three personalities go hand in hand, one after another. So the second personality of the human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, and this is a very powerful personality, Allah calls it nafs-e lawwama. Lawwama is from the word malamat. Malamat means you want to do something wrong, all of a sudden you receive a pulse in yourself, your mind, your heart sends a pulse to you, no, this is wrong, don't do it. So nafs-e lawwama is attracting you towards doing the wrong. Immediately after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing of this characteristic of the man and woman in the Quran. La uqsimu biyawmil qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by the al-qiyamah. Very powerful swearing. Very powerful qasam. Right after that, in the next ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Wala uqsimu bin nafsil lawwama. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is swearing about nafsil lawwama. Nafs lawwama is the characteristics of a human being which Allah is using to swear that nafs lawwama is that characteristic, is that personality of the human being that as soon as nafs ammara attacks at him, tries to attract something, wants to achieve that thing rightfully or wrongfully, your internal voice comes to you for a brief moment. don't do it. That's the nafs lawwama. But Allah has left this choice upon you. You can throw away this nafs lawwama. You can neglect, ignore the call of this internal something which is trying to stop you, and you can get indulged. You can do the wrong thing. Nobody will stop you after that, because your own nafs tried to stop you and you rejected that. Then you can continue in doing the wrong thing. So I want to give you an example of that. What this nafs lawwama, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in the Quran, an example of that. In the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, his people were worshipping the idols and the stars and all kinds of things. So one day he decided to plot something against them, his own nation, his own people. And he went to a temple. That's where all the idols were sitting, and the people were not there. So he broke all of them, and this story is commonly known. But the thing I want to point out in the Quran is that after he broke, he left the biggest one intact, and he left the temple. People came and they said, we have heard a person by the name Ibrahim, go and bring him. So they brought Ibrahim alayhi salam there. And they said, oh Ibrahim, have you done that? Quran says, Qalu, they said, the people said to Ibrahim, Anta fa'alta haza bi'alihatina ya Ibrahim. O Ibrahim, have you done this? Have you broken our idols? Our gods, you have shattered them into pieces. So what did he say? Ibrahim alayhi salam tried to be a little bit challenging for them. Says, Qala bal fa'alahu kabirahum. He said, no, this big one is the one who broke them. This big one who is still there, he is the one who broke these small idols. I didn't do that. Fasaluhum. So go and ask this. In kanu yantiqun, if they talk. Ibrahim alayhi salam is challenging that these are your gods. You worship them. The biggest one of you got jealous and he broke the small ones. Ask them or ask him. So what did they say? Allah says in the Quran that this question and this statement of Ibrahim alayhi salam challenged their minds for a brief moment. Their nafs lawwama came in the front and told them, no, you are wrong. We are the wrong ones. Quran says, فَرَجَعُوا إِلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. They turned to their own selves. They turned to their own selves, mean their nafs lawwama told them, فَقَالُوا إِنَّكُمْ أَنْتُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. You are the ones. Yes, we are the ones who are doing the wrong. So a brief moment, their nafs lawwama, their nafs which was doing the malamat, condemning them, trying to correct the situation, appealed them, but then what did they do? They threw away that voice that came from internal of them. Quran says, Summa nukisu ala ru'usihim. Then they turned their heads upside down. And they says, Laqad alimta, O Ibrahim, you know, ma ha'ulai yantiqun, they don't talk. So what did they do after that? Instead of taking a lesson, instead of listening to their voice of nafs lawwama, they said, burn a fire and throw him in the fire. So that's what happened, and there is a story after that. So that is the second example, that there is a constant challenge in our personality between nafs lawwama, nafs ammara, and a brief pulse of nafs lawwama, which tries to stop you from doing wrong. Okay. Third characteristic which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran also. And this is nafs mutmainna. Mutmainna is from the itminan. A person lived the life of satisfaction. Yes, a difficulty came upon me, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A good time came upon me, this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I should be thankful for that. If a hardship falls upon me, I should be patient, I should have sabr. This Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is defining as a nafs mutmainna, satisfied all the time, peaceful all the time. And there are, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment will call some people and tell them, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutmainna. Oh, the person who carried in the worldly life a satisfied heart, a mutmainna heart. What you do? Irji'i ila rabbika. Walk towards your Lord. Go towards your Lord. Radiyatam mardiya. He is pleased with you and you are pleased with him. Fadkhuli fi ibadi. Today you enter into my servants. Wadkhuli jannati. You enter into my paradise. But there is a condition. Who is in this world carrying the nafs mutmainna? What is the challenge? What is the sign that you and me have nafs mutmainna? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in 2 ayats defines that who has nafs mutmainna. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسُهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. Among the people are those who, to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, would even try to sell their own selves. Doesn't matter what falls upon them, doesn't matter what difficulty comes upon that. Their goal, their target is mardatullah, rada of Allah, mercy of Allah. Allah's mercy. Allah is pleased with me. Whatever is coming upon me, good or bad, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm satisfied. So that is the rada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is about the personality. The second thing that Allah says, وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ. Those people who spend their wealth, their mal for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So 2 conditions. You spend your wealth, your mal, everything for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, you spend your own personality, your own time, your own life, your own things for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we continue doing these 2 things, we are doing the work of nafs mutmainna, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised that those who will have nafs mutmainna will be given the paradise and the company of the righteous people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained these 3 nufus, 3 nafs, 3 selves of the mankind. I have also collected these on the sheet. They are sitting outside. You can pick up one of those. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to go through these processes and follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us. Sadaqallahu azim. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiyya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala ali sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Inna Allaha ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands that do justice and kindness, and be careful and helping to your relatives. And yanha anil fahsha, he stops you for that you refrain from doing the fahsh, the indecency, wal munkar, and what is wrong. Udhkurullah, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a command. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by the way, in Surah Al-Jum'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls Salatul Jum'ah a dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, washkuruhu, He will increase the bounties upon you, yazidkum, wastaghfiru, and seek forgiveness of your zunubakum, or your sins that you have committed. Wattaqu, have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's His promise, yaj'al lakum min amrikum makhraja. If you are in a difficult situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring you out of this difficulty. Wa aqimis salat, and stand up for the salat.